What's going on? Move the Mouse back in City Skylines. Let's play Season 12, Episode number 5. In the last episode, we started our downtown project, and I was planning on continuing that today, but that traffic right there is the reason why we're not. We're going to start working on the highway first instead. In order to do that, we're going to tear apart part of our town, but this is what happens, especially in the United States. Even in Hawaii, there's definitely some highways that just get built over neighborhoods as expansion happens. Unfortunate side effect is some people get moved out. We're going to come through right here and tunnel through this mountain. Now, do we go underneath and not disrupt our neighborhood that's there? I mean, we certainly could. We might disrupt a little bit in this area, but it's time to consider that. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to leave the last segment connected on either side, just so we kind of know where those nodes are today. This is a health clinic. Let's move this. We move it right there. So we've got health, police, fire, all right in a row. Let's do this, just so... I think there might be zoning there. Oh, there isn't. Okay. We'll do a little footpath through. So you can cut through if you need to. There was another spot over here. I said that we should do it, and I didn't actually do it. Let's turn off snapping for this one. Footpaths tend to work a little bit easier with snapping turned off. But that way, you know, all the people from that neighborhood can come into this area really easy, and they can get to the monorail station as well, especially if roads, come on, crosswalks, especially if we add something kind of right at the station. Now, I talked about this previously, but just in case you missed it, I've talked about this a lot. If you are on console or just playing without mods, either way, that's fine. You can upgrade a single piece of road, and let me at least do this with a one-way so it doesn't change our traffic flow. So if I upgrade this to a grass line street, it changes the lane configuration, which causes crosswalks to show up. So something to consider if you don't have an option like that, to just simply click a road and create a crosswalk like I do. Now, in the case of this monorail station, it's down near this intersection, so I'm not going to worry about that. But I do want people to have, you know, some ability to not have to walk down to the end of the blocks if they're going to cross. And I don't necessarily want them crossing over here by that really busy intersection, so we'll do something like that, and we'll just connect a little footpath through here, just to give people some options for getting around. We'll really come in and revisit this, but just wanted to do that while we were here. So let's not, I guess, you know, no, let's not tear apart that neighborhood. Let's delete this last segment of road. Come on. And let's tunnel underneath. So we're going to go over to roads, snapping back on for all. And what is that, 2-lane highways? We'll stick with that for now. We may change the lane config. That's 3-lane highway, 2-lane highway. Okay. So we're going to go down a step. In fact, what step are we on? Let's tilt our camera down and see. So, okay, so a 9-meter snap, which I think is the 3 clicks by default on consoles. You can change that. We'll get you over a road. So we'll come down as far as we can to make this ramp as smooth as possible. So if we shorten it, it's really abrupt, and shorten it too much, it gets too steep. If you come out too far, it starts to stretch the road out differently. So we want that kind of last little bit. And then those should line up, let's see, pretty well. Don't worry about this. We can fix this. And we're going to bring our highway exits kind of in and around to the sides here. So this is linking up a bit differently. Let's get this. This is going to be expensive, unfortunately. Highway projects are not cheap. So we're going to bring this underneath. Slope too steep? What do you mean? Let's do that. We'll come back the other way And over here, let's think about what we want to do. So I'd kind of like to have a really, since there is this slope, a really gradual slope going up that way, just to make things look a little bit smoother. So I'm going to use a big brush here. This right here is a pretty good height for us. There's a lot of area that's covered at that specific height. So I'm going to select that, go to the biggest brush that I can, and slope up from there, right? Now I kind of made a mess of things down here, so let's come back and smooth that out. But that could work. I think that will do the trick. Wow, that's interesting. I did not mean to do that. So let's go in there and maybe delete that last segment and have it come underneath a little bit differently. So we'll have to go underground for that. And this one it actually put above ground when I did the... Okay. Whatever. Okay, so that's one click away from coming up out of the ground. From here, we'll do the same thing we did before, which is we're going to come up and we're going to drag it out as far as we can before it starts to snap back. And that's going to be our smoothest transition that we can do without using Move It and other tricks and tweaks like that. Now, for people coming into this area, right, we're coming off the main highway, we're coming down here. I'm hoping that the bulk of the traffic is going to be going towards our downtown. So that's where I actually want my main highway is going to go. It's going to go terminate and connect into this roundabout. We're going to also have a way for the highway to exit out and feed traffic off that way. But this is going to be a much less populated coastal area. Certainly not as densely populated as over here. So this is kind of where we want the focus to be. So from here, I'm going to freeform. And let's just go to the node for now. We can come down here and brace this and tweak it and add new spots in, because this is going to get a little busy, unfortunately. But it will ease the burden on our initial exit up there. Now for this piece, I'm going to come kind of a click away. Actually, let me try and do the same thing here. See if I can run it pretty parallel. Hopefully I can. Let's see. Yeah, that's lining up pretty good. All right, so that is not ideal, but we can make it work for now. This, though, we need to change the... Well, not that one. We need to change the direction all the way back up through here so that people can get connected. Did I just reverse that above ground? Okay. So that should be good. That gets all the traffic in and out of this area for now. We'll, again, spin up another exit that goes off that way. And an entrance as well. But that at least can offload some of our burden here. So we're coming to that intersection where those two white trucks are. So let's see what we can cram in here. In fact, let's do regular roads to start. So if we come into regular roads, they don't quite bend and snap the same way, but that's exactly what we're going for here. Might want to turn snapping off. I need to get in between here. So let's see where it will let us get kind of parallel. Right about there. And then let's freeform in. Like that. We'll do the same thing up here. Wherever it will let us. So we can do that. That's okay. Those roads snap totally different from the way the highways snap. So this is going to go down to a one-lane exit. Now what we could do is as soon as these become 2 lanes, there's 2 lanes. If we want to do a little bit of lane math up ahead though, we could make this a 3-lane again. And then what happens is they're going to pick the lane that they need. If they're going straight, they can take one of the left 2 lanes. If they're getting off the highway, they're going to get into the right lane. Roads, directions. Okay. So that's good for highway traffic continuing on and getting off. But what about getting back on the highway? So let's do that same thing in reverse. Regular roads, straight tool. Kind of right smack in the middle. Right about there. You know, and where did I go to? About that arrow. You know, before we do something like that. And then let's hook this back in. And then back to highways to upgrade and reverse directions. That's the wrong highway. That's getting on. I don't know how I feel about this. Let's see what this looks like with just the 2 lanes. Like that. So you get 2 lanes becoming 2 lanes. If they're getting off, they can be in the right lane. This shouldn't back traffic up going that way. These cars are all very confused because they weren't planning on heading that way before. These ones that are past the exit are already committed to going that way, but as you see, they have no problem floating off. We'll see if this is a long enough exit ramp because we don't want this to become a problem backing up onto here. Which it may well vary, but we also haven't put any restrictions like Old Town or anything like that through here. It looks, in fact, like, wow, that's a really super busy cut through. So speaking of Old Town, that's one of the first places that we definitely want to do that. So we don't want to affect the commercial or that center strip. But we do want to affect all of the neighborhood that's back through here so that people are not using this as a cut through. If we click on the district, you can come into policies that are specific to just that district. And under city planning, we have one called Old Town. One of my favorites once I discovered it. Only residents and businesses can use the area for motor vehicle traffic or for motor vehicles. Ban other motor traffic. So basically, all the cars that we see kind of cutting through here to get down that way, they're not allowed to do that anymore. So the only traffic we're going to see through here is service vehicles and actual residents that are using this area to visit other residents or to go home or leave their home to head to work. So that should improve the traffic at least through there. That was one of the real bad cut throughs. But also anytime you do a configuration change like this, it's going to back things up as people start to recalculate. You can see down here, like this is a little less than ideal. What we'll probably do is do a little less of a roundabout and have the traffic getting onto the highway feed off a little further away. But that's okay for now. Now, another thing we may consider is this is a really long off-ramp as it is. So we might consider another exit that kind of feeds off into this area right here. It is sort of the split between the larger downtown area and the smaller residential zoning that will be around it. But I also want to consider that I want to get some more small density residential in here. Again, just to kind of mimic what's happening in Honolulu. So, you know, we have this big downtown area, but it just immediately drops off. I really like how this all came together. This is an interesting one. This has got to be an asset that I have, I would think. That just seems so much taller than everything else that's in the area. Actually, it looks like the tallest building on the map right now is a random high-density apartment building. I really like how this came together, though. It's a cool beachfront strip. I like this canal. I just like how it sits in here. It is very much unused. Like there's not a good reason for it, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of traffic in that canal in the actual Honolulu. So we could maybe get a fishing pier or a ferry stop in there. We'll figure that out. We'll find a way to use it. I think for today, right, we've got this very basic highway piece, and I do want to start considering how this all gets framed together, but we've also got one other challenging spot that we want to deal with, and that's up here. This is kind of a little bit limited in what we can do. You know, do we get another highway exit in over here, or do we convert this one? I think we convert this one. So let's talk about that for a minute. Let's look at, you know, I've got some different interchanges here that I've already downloaded. They do some crazy stuff. They're crazy big. The default Cloverleaf is not a bad option if you want four-way traffic. I shouldn't say it's not a bad option. It is a bad option because the way that the traffic gets on the highway in a Cloverleaf, right? You have traffic exiting, but then you have traffic entering before your other exit if you were making a 90-degree left. So the center gets super congested on Cloverleafs. So a better way we can do that is with some sort of stack interchange. So let me kind of show you that. I'll do it totally mod free, but I will definitely tweak some stuff after the fact. So we're paused. We're going to make a bunch of room, about as much room as you need for the Cloverleaf, maybe just a little bit extra. So let's do that for now. That should be plenty of room. And we could even go down to these intersections. That's fine. So just again, for size sake, right? The Cloverleaf eats up about that space. We're going to use about the same amount of space for this stack interchange. So while those cars are still there, what we can do is kind of use that as a gauge for our center. So I'm going to come down here. We're going to use some cheap roads. Is this gravel? Yeah, that works. So we're going to do some cheap roads. We're going to turn our snapping back on because we're going to need it. Let's get right in between these two. So right about there, that's very close to center. Should be good enough. So let me just delete a couple of those. What we're going to do is a 10 by 10 square. So right about there. And we want to move that down a little bit because it's not quite centered. We want it as close as we can get it. We're going to build everything off of this little square. I think that's good enough. I think that will work. So what we're going to do is kind of a repeating pattern here. So I'm going to use the gravel roads just to keep things cheap. You want 3 blocks of space before you put that road down. So right there. And then come out 20 and bring it back down to the ground. So that was 2 clicks up. All right, so that first one was 2 clicks up. Now we're going to go 1 click and bring it back down. So now we're just going to repeat that process on all 4 sides and line it up with the thing you just did. So basically we went up 2 clicks and then up 1 click. So I'm going to come in 3 squares of space. I'm going to come up 1 click because again, that's what we just did. I'll come out 20, drop it back down to the ground. And then let's go up 2 now. Come out 20 and drop it back down to the ground. Pivot over here. We're going to leave 3 squares of space and do what we just did, which was 2. So up 2, out 20 and down. Up 1, out 20 and down. And then 1 last time. We just did 1, so we do 1 again. Out 20. And down. And then right next to it, 2. Out 20. And down. So now we've got something that kind of looks like this. And you can see it's eating up about the same amount of space we would have with the Cloverleaf. Maybe just a tiny little bit more, but it's not too bad. All right, now the next thing we have to do is connect up basically what are going to be the highways, but we have to decide what we want to be underground, what we want to be overground. So I think the existing highway, let's make the existing highway the above ground piece. So what we're going to do here is break out our gravel roads again. And right next to this, we'll come down and out a little bit further. If you might have some snapping problems if you try and get it here. So if you come out a little bit further, well, if you come out a little bit further, apparently we're going to connect to our existing highway. So let's just do that. And we'll do the same thing over here. So right next to it, same problem. Ooh, do we have an area? Okay, here we go. We bought our area. Because if you break that, sometimes you can't repair it if it's off map. So let's break one more piece. Now we're going to do the same thing for the other side, except we need to switch to roads. I don't think you can do gravel tunnels. We want to come up out of the ground from there. We're going to change the road type, so it doesn't really matter that I'm using non-one-way regular roads. So now we should have something that looks roughly like that. Okay, now we're going to grab an extra road here. And we're going to go basically one tick in, so 10 units in. We're going to just build a segment of road right there. Repeat that 4 times. Now these roads we can connect up with a curve tool. Like that. And now we're left with something like that. Okay, so now we have to join up these in the middle. So I'm going to use regular roads. I'm going to curve to there. Come out to here and connect that one. And now that we've got that, we should be able to connect these top paths in the same manner. Like that and like that. And we built a pretty crazy stack in a pretty simple way. Now that we've got something like this, what we can do is delete the gravel roads in the middle. And now we should be able to connect these up as well. Oh, I made a mistake over here. So this needs to connect through. Sorry about that. This is not my interchange. If you want a better tutorial on this, Kangamoo, one of the mods and supporters, posted a video on their own YouTube channel, and it's linked and pinned all over the place and referenced everywhere we can in the Discord. So you should definitely check it out. It is where I learned this. It's actually a modification of another tutorial online that somebody improved, and then Kanga just did a better recording of it too on top of everything. So it's a really easy, quick intersection you can do. And I think Kanga explains it a little better than I'm trying to do right here. So come on over to the Discord if you want to see that. So, you know, kind of look at what happens here, right? We've got 3 things that you can do, right? You can keep going straight. You can go right. You can go left. That's the principle of a cloverleaf. I guess, you know, in theory on a cloverleaf, you could also reverse direction, but that same thing that allows you to reverse direction causes really inefficient traffic flow. So let's get the reform tool out, highways, and come down as close as we can to kind of get those connected. These are facing the wrong way. That's okay. We'll fix that in a minute. So I'm just going to get these all connected up in a similar fashion. Once I've done that, we'll do the final upgrade and direction shifts of all the roads. All right, so here we go with our finished, or I don't know, finish for now. We can still do some things like if you want to mess around with the terrain rather than tunnel this underneath, you can actually kind of drop the terrain in the middle and then make the cross path, which is on the ground right now, technically a bridge. But it gets a little tricky to manage on console. You can absolutely do it. But I'm going to leave it like this for now. I also have this very sloppy roundabout down here. And I think we'll just kind of do what we did up here, which is just separate the traffic out a bit on the main road and have that intersect with a coastal road down here. Let's switch it back to day. So that will give us a way to start supporting and feeding traffic over here. I think we're going to do all low density res, some commercial on the strip here on the beach. And then I think I want to leave, I spun the wrong way. I think I want to leave this beach kind of untouched. So we'll have a road that kind of comes in, maybe touches just a little bit there. But ultimately, I'd like this to be a little less occupied. Maybe we can get some boats or stuff parked in there or cruising around, maybe some fishing harbor activity. Could do that. Soon enough, we will buy the last 2 tiles of our island over this way, and then we'll have the full structure of the mainland. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, most likely. I think it makes the most sense if you want to use all this space. You do get, with this tile right here, we zoom way in, there is a railroad that you can access there if you make this one of your tiles. So it only makes sense because it is a nice corner of this island that you'd be cutting off otherwise. So that lets you hook into the train lines. I think maybe you can get it here, but it's really tight if you can. I know for a fact you can get the rails over here on the eastern mainland, or I mean, at least comparatively, it's mainland. We don't know. There could be water on the other side of it. All there is in cities is an infinite void, so it's tough to tell what that represents sometimes. But I'm going to guess, based on the tropical climate and everything else that's going on here, that is just another island to itself. But you can imagine whatever you want it to be. It's free reign there. So how are we looking over here? Well, just a real quick incorrect button press. A real quick double check through our systems. We're way over on electricity. Way over on electricity. We could be saving some money right there. Let's take it down. We'll go easy. We'll go 85% on both. And I think that'll be okay. Should be well into the green. Water availability, we've got to knock that back up into the green. So let's do one of the intakes. Now we are going to do these on a canal or something underwater at some point. That should get us into the green. Okay, because what's happening now is what's better? So that's pretty messy. Let's switch these up. Pause it for a second. Go into our pipes. And let's see what wastewater or the processing plant does from a demand perspective. So back into pipes. Pipes, I said. Pipes game. Let's just do that to get it connected and see where it's at. I'm pretty sure we're going to need at least 2. See what happens when that second plant comes online. That might get us into the green. I think that it will. Happen a little faster if we 3 times it. So that's good enough for now. That'll do the trick. Garbage processing is just crazy bad. So we should get something down here for now. It's a temporary dump. Let's do... Not a dump. We want the recycling. Let's send out 2 from here, and that should get us into the green. Should cover this area just fine, and we've got, what, 4 over here? So that should be enough overlap, and then we can add more as we need to support this way until we unlock monuments, because at that point we're pretty good to go. Now, we do have the floating garbage collector, and I think we could do that, you know, how close can we get to the shore? Right there. Let's see what that does to the pollution that gets past it, right? Because all that pollution is kind of focused right there. And you can actually see that it drops off an awful lot. If we wanted, we could... Do we need a second one? Does that make a difference? It doesn't look like it makes a difference. So that's doing pretty good. The little bit of waste that is coming out gets filtered through this, and it's relatively clean down here. What do we got? Why is this polluted? Does the pollution come down all the way up here and then it soaks into the dirt? Why wouldn't that happen all the way down the seacoast? Something's going on there. That's a little odd. Okay. So, quick scan through. School-wise, we need more high school. Why are they not going up there? So we've got one high school there. Why are all these people not high school educated? Does this not have students? 600 students, okay. Just jam-packed. So where can we get these? Kind of across from the water would be nice. That gets us into the green. We could think about maybe another one up here somewhere, kind of more central, for future expansion. So hopefully that does the trick. We're plenty capacity on university. We're not doing anything to push our students to or pull them out of with policies. I'm just kind of letting them do whatever they want to do. Garbage processing already in the yellow. What the heck? All right, we're coming up here. We're going to add it up here. Garbage, recycling. Let's do one more plant up here. We'll centralize those on one of the next episodes and try and fix some of the problems that we had going on. Happiness doing pretty good. Always low on the commercial. Health, decent. Death care. No crematorium capacity, so we could look at adding some of those. Childcare, elder care. That's right. So we did that nice and central in here. We didn't do anything down this way, though, for childcare. You can see where it tapers off. So we could try and get those in. Capital City unlocked. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we don't have anything going on up here on this main street, and that covers almost everybody. If we shift it down to this side, or put it right in the middle, it covers an awful lot of stuff there. So let's do that. Is elder care the same depth? No, it is deeper, of course. So I'm going to go over to the side a little bit for that one. While things are moved out, let's come in here and do a little something. So footpaths, right? No. Wrong. Footpaths right through there. You know, and did we move a couple people out? I mean, we could. Those houses are not zoned there. So we have a couple small houses on the back side there. Let's actually move this. What's our money? 319. That's not too bad. So we'll move this right next to that side. And then kind of central here, why don't we do a crosswalk? The further out we zoom, I think the easier it is to gauge where the center is. that'll put a crosswalk. It does put a stoplight in. So again, use the built-in game tools if that's what you have. If you're using Traffic Manager, stick to using Traffic Manager for those things. It's nothing you can't do. No, I don't want to. Manual traffic lights, no. Time traffic lights. Toggle traffic lights. There we go. We just don't want a traffic light there. People will figure it out. Same thing down here. So we'll get rid of those traffic lights on that's off, okay. So we will stop the traffic on the side streets and prioritize the traffic here. It's going to be the opposite though. Here, priority on the main, stop on the side. And same thing over there. See, traffic is at 83%. That's not too bad considering we only just added this new highway exit in. I think it definitely alleviated some of the stress that we were having through here, though there's a lot of traffic still bopping around the roads. Certainly a lot better. Now, things do look like they're slowing down here. And I mean, technically they are. The off-ramp is a slower speed limit than the actual highway. So you get all this traffic that is slowing down, but you'll notice it's flowing just fine. That's the important part. There's no backup. Now that we've got another highway exit, this is just so much lighter. What is our what's our transport doing? So lines overview for monorail, 85 people. We have 15,000 though. It's not exactly the most exciting route. It's just moving people up and down here. We'll probably get the monorail maybe on this diagonal also, and maybe connecting out this way. I think we're going to use monorail a lot because I really like this this structure. But we'll find ways to incorporate it in, and I might want to build another route through the park. I'm still thinking about this as a potential project. This is still a really main avenue for getting traffic through this area. And I think that would be kind of nice if this came all the way up in here, kind of did a roundabout up that way, reconfigure things a little bit and tear the park in half and see what we can do there. Real quick, before we go, what have we unlocked? Park Cafe. Info booth. With the restrooms a little bit away from the cafe in case anybody... That's not important. Can we get a chessboard in here? That would be kind of cool. No? Okay. Get it in like that instead. We can't do the piers, or I mean, we could. We could make some room for some piers, but... where do we not have a lot of decoration on this side? So we'll get a couple gazebos in. And we'll call it an episode. Hopefully you're enjoying the island town map save game of Honu. However we want to describe it, it's Honu. And hopefully you're enjoying. If you did, likes, comments, shares, they all help the channel out and they're all so greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you're new and hit the bell to get notifications for updates in this and other series. If you'd like to support the channel, links to that and lots of other things in the description down below. Stay tuned for the next one. We'll get back to finishing, or at least continuing to work on that downtown area. We've got to populate that northern part of the island now that we've got a highway exit there. But we're making progress, and we're going to try and get most of our downtown high-density portion of the build done in the next episode. So definitely tune in for that. Don't want to miss it. Until then, though... Isn't that a beautiful interchange? That just looks so nice. Anyways, until then, that looks nice too. I'm loving the downtown area. I'm loving this map. I gotta say, I'm gonna pat myself on the back. Hopefully, I don't hurt myself doing it. But I'm really excited where this one's going so far. And you know, this is all still kind of first pass. We'll see how it all comes together. We'll reassemble it and fix it where we need to. There was an odd artifact there. I'm not gonna worry about that. That's future Mouse's problem. And until then, when he has to deal with it, Move the Mouse signing off.